Thank you.
You have 30 more seconds.
The stats there. I'll just start, even though we'll be a little bit more boring. So, the future of the BYU intramural process is what we're going to be presenting on today. And so, what I'd like to do first is a little bit of trivia. So, anybody know what this building is? Ooh, okay.
The Brigham Young Academy.
Oh, man, you totally got that right. Okay, nice job. So this is the original Brigham Young Academy, so the original BYU in essence. Today, it is actually this building. Does this look a little bit more familiar?
Yeah, the library.
The Provo City Library, yeah, exactly. So on closer inspection, the next time you're visiting the Provo City Library, go up to these steps right here. Okay, well, there's a right there, and you'll see the BYU Academy on there. Okay, great, nice. How about this building? I think Lauren the first.
It's the women's gymnasium, but it's now a boutique.
Yep. Okay.
And it's across the street from the academy.
Nice, nice. Well done. So it's across the street from the original Brigham Young University. It is Cherry Lane keepsakes, apparently. And so on the front of the building, if we were to go around, then you can see a little bit more clearly the BYU Women's Gymnasium. And there's a date on there, 1912. The other picture that we were looking at, the Brigham Young Academy, was circa around the 1900s. Okay, awesome. So the original superintendent, or President Samuelson or President Worthen, back then was this man. Anybody name this guy?
Clark?
Ooh, nope. Right.
Carl Mazer.
Carl Mazer, nice. Well done. So Carl G. Mazer was one of the original superintendents, and the reason that we begin with him is because this quote inspired what we now know as the BYU intramural process. So play and recreation are more than mere divisions. They are recuperative requisites in the process of physical, intellectual, and moral development. Anything stand out in anybody's mind when you're reading that quote? How about now? So physical, intellectual, and moral development. It sounds a little bit like another academia, you know what I'm talking about, who we know as Abraham Maslow. And he was a humanitarian psychologist. And not only did Carl G. Mazer highlight the fact that recreational activity is important to our physical development, but it's also important to our esteem and self-actualization and ultimately our happiness, which is what we discussed a lot in this class. So highlighting those three features is important to set up a strategic sort of positioning for the purpose and the vision of the BYU intramural game plan. Another picture. Anybody highlight this picture? We're traveling through time here. Gustavo.
The nature building, right?
Ooh, yeah. Yes. All right, so this is the original BYU campus. So originally this area where the campus is on top of Temple Hill was supposed to be where the Provo Temple was going to be built. Instead, it ended up being allocated to BYU campus. And so you got the Mazer building, our very cherished testing center, which we'll be in a couple weeks. And so that was the original BYU campus. Not long after the dedication of the institution, in this upper campus, so to speak, there was another building that was put in place. Show of hands. Ooh, yeah. Brian, were you going to say that? All right. One of the other guys will have to award you. But yeah, this is the original Richards building. And so the point that I'm trying to get across is that physical activity and recreation was an important part of BYU and its ultimate mission of developing people and disciples of Christ. So originally, we had flag football, basketball, volleyball, and BYU intramural program started around the early days of BYU in the 1900s. Today, in addition to flag football and basketball and volleyball, we also have ultimate frisbee. And has anybody played inner tube water polo?
Yeah.
So there are over 30 intramural activities nowadays. Any guesses on how many participants? Oh, shoot.
12,000.
More than 12,000 students, faculty and staff, and young single adult board members participate in these activities on an annual basis. So, in other words, this is a big deal. This is an important process that we're discussing.
We'll talk about the process and scope. What we're going to talk about today. We're going to begin with when you decide that you want to play an intramural sport. And we're going to take it all the way until when you sign up and you've got a team and you're in the system and ready to play. Okay, we are not going to be talking about the time that Austin missed the big shot that lost us the intramural shirt, which we're not going to forgive him for. Or we're not going to talk about the glory days. High school, glory days. Not talking about that. Okay? So your focus here. So we're talking about the employees, the intramural office, program manager who oversees each program for basketball, volleyball, and the employees. Okay? We also have our customers, the participants. We have team captains that organize the teams, and then we also have team players. A lot of bench players there. Okay, and then we did some consultation with the Gibb brothers. We're going to talk a little bit about what's the strategy of the BYU Intramural office. Okay? So our aim is to serve the recreational needs of the majority of the student body, not just the athletic and well-connected minority. Okay. What we're trying to accomplish here. So let's talk about our current process, how it works. So the intramural office creates schedules for each of its programs. So volleyball, they create the schedules, and then I'll decide like I want to play a sport. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to organize a team that will play with me, which can be quite complicated to do. Find different people that know how to play volleyball. I mean, it's not necessarily an everyday thing that you find people that are professional volleyball players. Okay, and then I'm going to have to travel to the intramural office, and there I finally have value realization. Of waiting to make an appointment. So to understand this waiting to make an appointment, this is not waiting 5 minutes at the intramural office to make an appointment. You have to show up, camp out, from what I understand, to get there. You have to get there in the morning. First you have to get your mom to give you a ride there. Then you camp out all morning, bring some treats, because you're going to be waiting hours and hours. The website says you have to get there at least an hour earlier. You can plan on not getting the schedule. Or not getting to be able to play. So the customer is camped out there. Here we have an example. Caleb camped out, waiting to make an appointment. And then when you get there, you can finally, you're able to make an appointment to come back. So what happens is you make an appointment to purchase a schedule. You have to show them your ID, you're a student. They verify that you're a student, and they schedule with you an appointment to come back later to play the sport, to sign up to play the sport. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't, but yeah, that's what it is. So this is me waiting outside of the intramural office to make an appointment to come back to sign up to play the sport. Okay? So then I've got to go home and I've got to get my mom to give me a ride to the intramural office again. And then I've got to, or I can walk to the intramural office where I will again wait to be seen. But they find the value in this is it's not as long a wait because I'm not waiting for 5,000 people ahead of me. And so there I wait to be seen. Waiting for the person ahead of me to finish their appointment. Okay, and then I'll hand the employee my ID when I get in there. They'll verify that I have a scheduled appointment. And then what I need to do is I need to browse through the schedules. And then I need to choose one that works for my team. And it can be quite hard to organize and coordinate between your whole team. I have to see, I don't know what the schedules are beforehand. I've got to sort through them. Many of our customers said that they would actually try and call up all of their friends on their team and ask them, does this time work for you? Does this time work for you? It was really confusing and really difficult to do right there. And so after I've chosen a schedule and coordinated with my team, then I hand the employee back the schedule that I've chosen, and then they verify it, and the student in charge of my student account and give me a copy of the schedule so I can let my friends know. I get a ride home with my mom, and then I have to either I pay on my student account, and then I have to create the team, get all my team members' net IDs, and put them all into the computer, and get them all to pay me, which is a pain point for Caleb still hasn't paid Josh, but we won't bring that up. So we're going to really talk about today, there's really two different customer segments that are involved with intramural sports. So for many of us in the MBA program, we may be more related to gregarious Gary, which gregarious means very sociable, outgoing, no problem organizing a team because he's got tons of friends and knows lots of people. But there's also these people that want to play intramural sports that are more like Timid Tim. Timid Tim has a lot of skills. Nunchuck skills, basketball skills, but social skills aren't one of them. And he really doesn't know how to organize a team. He doesn't know how to get out there and find people. I think I saw him on the street singing, "How do you know, who wants to play volleyball with you?" So let's talk about these two. So gregarious Gary, in his process, different things are inconvenient for him. Traveling to the office and waiting for the appointment. Those things are difficult. What he finds most difficult is choosing a schedule that works for his whole team. He's the guy that's on the phone calling his whole team that he's organized saying, "Can you play on Thursday? Are you going to be out of town? Can we make this work?" And he's got to coordinate on the spot his whole team and their schedule. Okay? And we also have Timid Tim. He finds inconvenient also traveling to the office and waiting to be seen. But what's extremely difficult for Tim is the actually organizing a team that he can be on. He just doesn't know where to find people that are professional volleyball players. And he's been proselyting in the street using his missionary skills, but he just hasn't been able to find a team. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this today.
Okay. So in this segmentation, we really see where they align in this matrix. We have Timid Tim, who doesn't even get to the point of coordinating a schedule. He just doesn't have those social skills, so we put an NA for there. And then he's definitely unhappy when having to come to organize the team. And then gregarious Gary, he's unhappy with coordinating the schedule as well. He finds it to be tedious, difficult to be there on the phone while he's choosing the schedule. And then organizing the team, he has the social skills, he's able to organize it, but it's still somewhat of a difficult process. But overall, he's fairly happy. And then moving on, doing some strategic positioning here in the channel of independent processing. In this scenario, the company could, for example, dictate what team you are on. So all you do is you input your name, say I want to play, and then the intramural office says, this is the team you're on. I encountered this situation during my undergrad at West Point. As a freshman, I was told I was going to play an intramural. I was told what time and what sport I was going to play. I had no choice. And then moving on across the board, we have circuit interaction, where the customer has an opportunity to fill out a survey online with its preferences, its skill level, type of personality, and then the company therefore chooses a schedule, chooses a team for it, places you on a team. moving forward, here we have more of a consultative conversation. The team captain, the player comes into the office, has a consultative conversation with an employee of the intramural office, and receiving preferences, and over the course of the conversation, he's placed on a team. And then moving forward, here we have some surrogate interaction, a little bit more control on the part of the player, in that, similar to choosing your seat on an airline, there are slots, teams already created, there's a slot on each team, and you have an opportunity to view what the team makeup looks like, and then place yourself in the slot. And then lastly, there's always the option of organizing your own team. And so for Greg, he's happy with the opportunity to slot and create the team himself through the slottage process that's enabled through surrogate interaction online. But Tim, with his lack of social skills, really just wants to input his preferences and be placed on a team and be matched. And moving forward, we also had the major issue of coordinating the schedule. Here in the independent processing, we have a situation where you say you want to play, and you're just given a schedule. The schedule is dictated to you. Then you have an option to use some surrogate interaction for utilizing a tool such as when to meet, to identify these are my available times, and then based upon that availability, the intramural office gives you a schedule that meets within your expectations. Such a tool could be identify where all the team members you have together can fill this out, and then the intramural office matches you all together and optimizes the situation. And then there could be direct interaction, which is probably the most inefficient, of coming in and having a conversation about availability. The intramural office employee identifies some potential openings, opportunities to what scheduled opportunities there are. And then we have the opportunity for customers to see a whole list of all the different schedules and to choose the schedule appropriate. And then lastly, we have essentially open gym time, where a customer just comes in and has a pickup game and plays sports whenever they would like. And again, for Gregorius Greg, he prefers to see the options of all the times and make the choice. And then for Tim, he would like to just identify his preferences on time and his availability, and then just be matched with the schedule working.
All right. So we also wanted to look at this from a lean perspective, and as you remember, there's the 4 E's, and so we'll walk through them one by one. But first of all, you see a lot of the interactions here in the middle. Direct interactions not providing a lot of value to the process, and not necessarily helping the person get any closer to their goal. So a lot of these here in the middle, we'd be able to eliminate if we moved these processes into the surrogate interaction domains, where either Tim is supplying his information to the intramural office and they're registering him on a team, or Gary, Gigi for short, whether he is organizing the team through surrogate interaction. So we're able to eliminate a lot of the processes there in the middle. Here on Organize's team, we're able to enhance and extend. So for Gary, we're enhancing the experience by making it more easy. Instead of him being on the phone, calling his friends there at the table, he's doing this online, where he can call them, email his friends, send them to the website, whatever, to get the team organized. It's extending. And this aligns with the mission of BYU, which is to allow every student who wants to participate a chance to be on an intramural team. So we're extending the franchise, extending the offering to people who are opting out because the organizing a team process is too difficult. And then lastly, enable. So this here in the browses and chooses the schedule section, it's an enabling innovation where we're giving Gary the tools that he needs to coordinate again with his potential team members. So this is what the future dynamic process would look like. So starting up here, in the top right-hand corner, decide to play a sport, then there's going to be an important decision. Am I going to captain my own team or not? If not, then you're going to fill out an intramural form, a survey on what your interests are, send that to the intramural office, and they'll generate teams. They'll take people, put them all together, generate the team. Then you'll process your payment. You'll get an electronic copy of the schedule, and you'll go from there. If you do want to captain your own team, so this up here is an example of service commoditization. And down here, service disintermediation, where we move the process of payment from the direct interaction over to the survey interaction. And again, our Tim and Tim would fit into this category. Here, though, we have Gary. Yes, he wants to organize his own team. He still has that ability. That right won't be taken away. And so this, in conclusion, this overcomes some of the inconveniences and difficulties that we experienced before. Again, Tim doesn't have to coordinate schedules, but he is satisfied in how teams are organized. Now he can play. And Gary, his life is much easier now in coordinating the schedule and in organizing the team. So with that, any questions?
Easy questions get candy. Good questions get candy.
Can you do the strategy dance again?
Been practicing for weeks.
Other topic on research?
Yeah, Laura.
So did you consider the kind of in-between Tim and Tim and gregarious Gary segment, like the people who have like, let's say 3 or 4 people they want to play on a team with, but they don't have, none of them want to be a captain and get the rest of the people? Would they sign up as a group? Like, I mean, could they still specify when they were entering their inputs that they wanted to play with their friends, they just didn't want to captain the team?
We did. We talked about that, and we tried not to go too far with what we had. But we, in the option that the organized team had where they could select online, we wanted to put to where they could all go on the same and select like the same class.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd all be in the same class, same team. And so that would be, we felt I could fit into that category. We didn't.
There would definitely be interaction between the two, right? So if I'm captaining a team or heading up a team, and I have 4 players, I need 1 more. I would be able to tap into all of the Tim and Tims who had just supplied their information. Right now, the process is, yeah, sorry, if you can't field the team, don't buy a schedule. If you do buy a schedule and you can't field the team, we'll take it back after you forfeit twice.
Yeah.
So right now, there's no in-between ground.
Right.
So I think the current process, even though it's a hassle, came about to deal with more interest than capacity. Right? You'd go an hour early to get a schedule. So how is that accounted for in your new process? If you're just going online and signing up, if you're signing up your team, you account for the amount of teams that want to sign up.
That's a really interesting question. There's a lot of ways that you could deal with it. We didn't account for it because that's outside of the scope of the process that we're presenting today. But